Hi, how you doing?
Good, man. How you been?
I'm good. We're here with Matt Thornton from Doublewide. Doublewide Live?
Doublewide. The band is called Doublewide.
Okay.
Everything on the internet or on the any of our like Facebook pages, Doublewide Live.
Okay.
Because if you just go to Doublewide, you get a bunch of houses.
That's got to be rough, huh, dude?
Right?
I mean, because oh man, from building websites all the time, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know the deal with that. Like,
Right?
go check out our band Doublewide, and like literally, they probably sell more.
Yeah.
Your fans, like literally, are all in the market now.
Right.
They're all shopping.
They get spam emails from Doublewide from trailer companies.
That is hilarious. Like, for real. I gotta say this out loud. He brought a guitar in here, and I was like, "What is this guitar for?" Thinking in my head, I was like, I don't know. He's gonna play. We have music from the CD, so I don't know if he wants to play. We just play, plug in the board, and do it. Whatever. I'm sitting at my desk, and he pulls his guitar, and he goes, "Hey, check this out." And I was like, "What is it?" And he's like, "It's a guitar." I was like, "For what?" He's like, "Well, this is for you." I was like, "Dude, what?" I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, literally, that was awesome.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
No, I mean,
we just wanted to thank you for doing all the stuff that you do with the radio station and with Live and Local and all that stuff.
I mean,
it's just
I know, but I don't ever do that for people to walk in here with a guitar.
It's good though.
I appreciate the shit out of it. There, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, because it's right. I took the damn helmet guitar down and put it up, and I love helmet. But I'm telling you, I like the way it looks.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. I'm gonna look at it every day. I'm gonna touch it too. It doesn't sound real good on the radio. Right. But welcome to Radio Louisiana. Man, and Dave, Shannon, Justin, guys, seriously, I don't care where y'all are. If you see me, I'm buying you a drink.
Hey, there you go.
For real. Like, I appreciate this in a crazy, crazy, crazy way. Beautiful, beautiful guitar.
Yeah, you do so much for everybody, even as it's just. It's the least we could do,
Yeah, but okay, I'm gonna shut up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's get down to this album. I have a bunch of questions for you, man.
Oh,
I really do.
All right, I'll see if I can answer them for you.
I want people to understand where y'all came from. I want them to understand where you're at, and I want them to understand where you're going.
All right.
Because I feel like Acadiana doesn't get it sometimes when it comes to people who have really busted their ass in the music scene.
Right.
Okay? And everybody does bust their ass in the music scene. They do. I mean, I don't care who you are.
It's not something that's easy.
I mean, I know a guy all the way from, he was shy. He didn't want to play at all. He couldn't, he was in somebody else's band. He really don't want to talk. Now he's singing.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's a learning experience for everybody. But, I mean, how long have you been playing music?
Since I've been playing since I was about 16. I think I got my first guitar when I was about 15. And then I started playing. I pretty much taught myself. When I turned about 18, 19, I started playing out in different things, in bars and things like that.
Do you actually remember how was your first gig?
My first gig was actually I'm actually from Wyoming.
Right.
So my first gig I was living in Laramie, Wyoming, and it was at a place called Elmer Lovejoy's, and I was the dishwasher for this restaurant, Elmer Lovejoy's, and on Friday nights everybody would come in and drink beer and have a good time. And as I was the dishwasher, I would bring my guitar in and play for a while and let the dishes pile up, and then I would wash the dishes, and then I'd sit there and play for a little while back in the kitchen, and then I'd let the dishes pile up, and then I'd wash them.
Did they pay you to play? Or you were just doing it?
No, I was just sitting in the back. I was just sitting in the kitchen, And so I would do that all the time. Like I would just bring my guitar to work all the time, wash dishes.
What did you call yourself?
No, it was just Matt.
Okay.
And then so I'm just sitting there, and
Should have been like DG,
right.
dish guy.
And then
You know?
all through the night, all the servers kept coming back, and they kept giving me, like, they'd give me a shot or they'd give me a beer or whatever. I was like, hey man, thanks. You know, it happened, but like this night was particularly like.
Yeah, but that's cool, man.
They were doing it a lot,
That's
you
a
know.
cool start. I mean,
And I was like, okay. And then the manager come in, and I was done with my shift, and he's like, where are you going? And I said, well, I'm going home, you know. And he's like, no, you're not. You're going up. You're gonna play tonight.
Really?
I was like, what? He's like, yeah, go. They had set a sound system up and everything, and so I went out, and that was literally my first like gig. So I got a bunch of people got me drunk and then made me go play.
Interesting.
Right.
I mean, you sing very, you don't sing like you speak at all.
Right,
Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, whenever they hear you sing on these tracks,
Right.
it's completely different.
Well,
It's almost like you're a whole different person to me.
If I sing, if I talk real loud, it's kind of like how I sing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
But I don't know. I do have a different voice, and look, I do have a different like I don't know if you could say persona or whatever, but like it's not a put on or anything by that means, but like it's
No, it's like
I get myself pumped up for the show. You know, I'm in like this is what I've done for the show. You know, this is
Matt Fierce. Like, you know,
yeah, right. It's Matt times 2.
No, it's like I'm always. I actually had to sit through an Oprah interview one time where they were talking to Beyonce, and she was talking about I turned on this alter ego named Sasha Fierce.
Right.
And like
I've
she's
heard
like
that.
all of a sudden Sasha comes out and starts talking about Illuminati crazy shit, and I'm like, dude, whatever.
Right. But I know I've actually like. And I don't know what it is like, but it's Matt 2.0, you know.
Yeah, I would be 3.0 because now the USB is.
Yeah, right.
You just be 4.0 because you know that shit's coming. I'm Matt 4.0.
Right.
How y'all doing?
Yeah.
I mean, because it is different.
Right.
It is different, and I mean, okay, and then there's Dave.
Right.
You know,
Dave is an amazing drummer and an amazing person in his own right.
And Dave is not about no bull. Dave don't bullshit
Right.
at all. Like
Right.
he's for real. He's coming at you
Right.
100 miles an hour. He don't have a problem with it.
Right.
He's gonna. You want honesty? Ask Dave.
Right.
So, I remember the first time I met Dave.
Right.
You know, and he was sitting at the Blue Moon. He was sitting on that stool.
Uh-huh.
Like I call it the Will stool.
Right.
Like by the door.
Right.
And like I'd never met him before, and you know, if you take it personally, you might take it the wrong way,
Right.
because he's like looking at you. He's like, "Who's this dude?" Sizing you up and shit. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the first time I ever met him. You know, that's kind of how he was with me, and
Right.
I was just like, man, I promise you, I don't mean any harm or anything. It's what I'm thinking to
Right.
myself, you know. And then I think I saw him maybe 2 or 3 other spots, but I kept noticing he was the drummer in a shitload of bands.
Right.
So I was like, well, how many bands is this dude in? So I was like, okay, cool, you know, cool. And then one day I saw him post a picture on Facebook, and they were all the band was wearing socks, and that was it.
Yeah, that was our old band in Colorado. I met Dave.
And you were in that band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I met Dave in Colorado. It was I don't know. I guess it was the late '90s, early 2000s.
Right.
Somewhere back there, somewhere back there in the haze. Well, I met him there, and I met a bunch. The funny thing was there was a bunch of like Cajun people up there, and I met him through
In Colorado.
through a bunch of these. There was like a big group of Cajun people that were up there, and living in the mountains, and I met him through that group of people, and I liked hanging out with them because it was just a fun time.
I get the visual of the whenever they say the stories of the Acadians. That's what is in my mind right now.
Right. And so I
without the mountains.
Right.
I wish we had some mountains here, just a little bit, but you know.
Yeah, it's pretty flat down here. But yeah, I met him up there, and we've kind of been friends since. And we started a band called the Bodie Band, and then that was pretty successful. And then there was actually another guy that was from Lafayette that was there, and he actually moved back to Lafayette. And then, so after that, we started a band called Motorhome.
Right.
And Motorhome was pretty successful band. We toured like 28 states or something like that. The last I counted, I think it was like 28 states or something.
That's a good band name too.
It was, yeah.
28 states.
Right? So then we go, that was a great band. And we were together for, I want to say about 10 to 12 years doing it. And the first 5-6 years were great. I'll tell everybody, it was at the halfway point, it got crazy. We were a party band, and we got, the party took control of the ship, and eventually it caught up to all of us. So when that ended, Dave actually had moved down back home to be with his parents, and then I moved down here to Louisiana about 4 years ago to hang out, just more to hang out with Dave and meet him, be closer to other things in this area, because I've been coming down here a lot since, and I loved it. So.
And did you get married here, or were you married already?
I was married already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Ladies, he's taken.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Oh, man. No.
I mean, okay, so, and then how does Justin Lewis enter into this?
Justin Lewis, he has played with a lot of people. All of us. I mean, if you count the people that we played with, it's pretty amazing. But Justin Lewis, he played with a bunch of people, and I think Dave saw him when we were trying to put this band together. Dave and I we first started as like a two-piece, and we would go out and play a couple shows as a two-piece. And as we were starting to put this band together, Dave saw him playing with someone. I don't know the story. I wasn't there.
Well, I know he was in a band.
I think it might have been Joel Sagne,
okay,
or one of the. It was.
I mean, I know he plays with country singer Kylie Fry. He
Right.
plays with. I know he was in a band with Keith Blair.
Right.
Back in the day.
Right.
Called Steel and Cane.
Right.
They were in. I mean, how many bands is he in?
He's in
quite a few. I
mean,
mean,
he plays
Spit
with.
Cup.
He plays with Dustin Sagne.
Yeah, he plays with Dustin.
Yep.
He played with Spit Cup with Sal Melanson.
Yeah.
He's
played with Wayne Toops.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played with a lot of people.
And the dude, like, how Steve Vai makes his own solo albums with Sonny Landreth, and
Right.
He could probably do his own album called Lewis.
Right. He actually has
literally.
One. He does.
So I mean, one. You see. So I mean, because
yeah.
I've heard so many people say, "Man, this dude, when he's freestyling, you need to hear this." And he does that, and then he teaches guitar too.
Yeah, he does teach. He teaches guitar.
I mean,
yeah, I mean he's one of those guys that like that's the thing with our band is like I can't do that. Like I can't do what he does, and and I think that's where like with Doublewide, our strengths and our weaknesses they all complement each other. I can't solo. I'm not a solo guy, but that guy is. You know what I'm saying?
What about Matt 4.0? Can he do it?
Yeah, Matt 4.0 can try real hard. But like if I can solo, I can solo, but I have to really, 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 really think about what I'm doing. I have to really think about, okay, I got to put my fingers here. It's not something that comes naturally.
Does it stress you out?
A little bit. It's never been something that comes
Okay.
naturally to me, and it just comes out of him. And it's pretty amazing to stand next to sometimes, and
it's like that. I don't know how to. It's gonna sound crazy. I mean, probably, but I understand what that's like because
Right.
when I'll get in I'll write some stuff,
right,
and dude, it just comes out. I don't know where from,
right,
but it just happens. And
Right.
literally, you'll write 25 pages, and you're like, what am I doing?
right. And that's kind of what like songwriting, I think that's how all that stuff kind of comes.
Yeah.
But
It's almost like I don't know how to explain this, but to me, it's like it's like direct connection with your soul.
Right, and you know what? And look, as the songwriter of the band, and as the I write, all the time. I don't write all the time. I'm not one of those persons that sits at a coffee shop and writes.
I'm not either.
That doesn't happen to me.
I don't even drink coffee.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, if I did drink coffee, I could write. I'm like, man, let's go dance.
Yeah, right. And I can honestly tell you, I don't really know where songs come from. I don't know where that comes from. And there's this thing where if I sit and try to write a song, I'm going to write this song today. I got this idea. I'm going to write it down. It never develops into a good thing,
Yeah, I mean,
whether the ones that are just wherever they come from, they hit you,
right.
And those are always the good ones, And then luckily, I've got a support group with Shannon May, our bass player, and Dave Nizat, our drummer, and Justin Lewis, our guitar player, to bring these, pretty much when I bring them, they're acoustic folk songs, I guess, or they're like, and they make them into what Doublewide is.
Yeah, I mean, well, and let's talk about Shannon. Shannon May is a professional, and I guess he still is a professional skateboarder.
Well, he's no longer. He doesn't actually compete anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, he was a professional skateboarder. He skated with GNS back in the day, back in the day when we were all younger.
Yeah, I'm still young, dude.
But he's still big in the skate community. He does a lot of he still skates,
Right.
But yeah, it's very he's one of those super cool dudes too. And how I met him through the band, Dave met Justin and gave Justin a CD, and Justin was like, "Oh, this is amazing," and called me the next day.
I mean, did y'all even know the dude played music at all?
Who?
Before, cause it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? When you're a skateboarder, right. To me, it's okay,
right.
It's a secret,
No, listen to this story.
I play bass.
Ever since I moved to town, I would always told people, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to develop this band. I got this idea, da 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 da. And everybody, at least 5 different people told me, man, you got to get with this guy, Shannon May, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, all right. And then finally, somebody was like, hey, you should call this guy Shannon May. And they gave me his phone number, and I put it in my wallet, So
that was like 2 for 2.
Right. So there's a couple people told me, I put his phone number in my wallet, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm not one of those people that just likes to cold call people and be like, I don't know.
What was the third correlation? Because
the third correlation was Dave was actually out one night and saw Shannon playing bass with another band, and he came to me the next day and said, hey, I saw this great guy playing bass the other night. We should get him for Doublewide.
What's his name?
And he's like, I can't remember his name. He's like, I can't for the life of me remember his name. And I was like, well, what band was it, And we looked up the band that he was playing with, and it had his name listed as Shannon May. And he was like, no. Dave looked at me, he's like, we just got to find his phone number. And I was like, guess what, dude? And I opened up my wallet, and I gave him the phone number. I was like, that's his phone number right there. People have been telling me all about him. So we called him, and we met him, and now he's, that's kind of how we all met. Dave and I knew each other, and then Dave found Justin, and then we all kind of, that weird thing that happened that found Shannon,
I wonder if a girl named Shannon has been to your show in May.
Right.
No,
maybe.
Because that would be the fourth prophecy.
Right.
For real.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
to me. I want to say this too, for real, because this is an idea that nobody ever did yet. But I'm waiting for somebody to have a place in Acadiana that has a surfboard, and you get on the surfboard in a restaurant or someplace
right.
Now you have a mechanical bowl,
right?
You have a mechanical surfboard, and
nice.
Literally, you dunk your ass in the pool. Everybody would want to do this and go to the venue just to watch this shit.
Right. That's
mechanical surfboard, man.
Right?
Like for real. And y'all get your gig would be perfect for this. I'm serious.
Right?
Surfboard, and then out of nowhere, you break out into like a Dick Dale song,
right?
And then, everybody turns their attention to the dude before he wipes out, right. And then you go right back into your original.
I actually opened up for Dick Dale one time, twice actually. One time in Colorado and once here at the Blue Moon. I opened up for him.
Yeah,
he's a cool dude, like super cool dude. Yeah, right.
He is a trip.
And like you know what, like there's like something to like he's doing his thing, and like that's his thing, and this is my thing, and this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep on doing it, And there's something to be said about that,
But he's got.
It's amazing.
It's like Brian Setzer too. Like they all do their own thing.
Right, and but that's what's amazing about it, and to be doing it as long as he is, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
super cool, man, and cool dude to hang with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a wicked hairstyle.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, all right, I got this surfboard in my head now. Okay, cool. I'm gonna stop. Back to this next. Oh, we're gonna play a track. That's what we're gonna do. What is the first song that was written on the album of the first album too? By the way, I'm curious about that.
I don't even really know the first song that was written, or
just that y'all decided like, okay, this song is done.
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Like, how did y'all decide that Cow was going to be the single?
Well, Cow started. It was on the first record, and Cow I actually wrote in Colorado, and I wrote it in Colorado. I used to finish drywall with a bunch of guys. I was in a van, and there wasn't a seat in the back, so I'd sit on a bucket in the back as we were going to jobs. And then we were driving, and there was actually a cow on the road, and I was eating a breakfast burrito, and and the driver slammed on the brakes, and I lost my burrito, and I went up into the front of the van. And I was like, man, what are you doing? Because I didn't see the cow or whatever. And he's like, there's a cow on the road. And I remember writing it down at that moment in time. I got my burrito back and I wrote it down on a scrap piece of paper and I put it in my pocket.
What does this cow want?
And so I actually wrote it in Colorado. And then when I moved down here, and Dave and I had started recording some stuff, just him and I, just by myself, just acoustic guitar, drums kind of thing, or like I would play electric guitar and drums, and we kept saying, well, we should get other people to play on it. See who we could ask, and we actually, Cow has a lot of different players on it, and I'm gonna mess this up. I know Corey Doublewide, he's the bass player from. He plays with Tab Benoit. He plays with Tab Benoit. He's the bass player for Tab Benoit. And Earl
I got a cool story about Tab Benoit's parents' house.
Awesome.
I'm gonna bring after this song. I'm gonna tell you about that.
And then we got Earl Washboard Sally's playing on it. The first album we just kind of asked a bunch of people that we knew. I knew a bunch of people from touring down here, and we asked the people. And Dave knew a bunch of people because he was playing in Chubby Carey in the Bayou Swamp Band at the time. And we just kind of started asking people to come play with us, or just to come record and see what it does.
Hey guys, y'all want to come play with us?
Yeah, right. Well, hey, we got this song. You guys want to come
address.
Play? And that's what happened. And I mean, so it kind of happened organically with like different people. So when Tab came in, he put that kind of like, or not Tab. I mean, Corey Doublewide came in. He put that kind of bass line onto it, and it kind of changed the song into that Cajun country kind of song. And then Dave, I think, actually redid his drum track and put the double clutch style drums on there. And then Justin is playing guitar, and that's kind of what happened. So it's kind of one of those songs that like I wrote it and then it turned into this. It kind of turned into this thing with the other players. Originally it was more of like a country-esque style song, and now it's kind of it blossomed into what it is right now, which is kind of cool. And as a songwriter, that's the cool thing. That's like that's what you hope for.
Well, now every time I hear the song, I'm gonna think of you sitting on a bucket eating a breakfast burrito, and some dude named Pepe goes, "There's a cow in the road,"
right.
And you're like, "Give me a pen, give me paper."
Right.
It's on.
Right.
Here we go. Cow. Double wide. And that was Cow with Double Wide.
Yeah.
You got to hear his voice. And there's a cow.
Right.
I can almost do it right now. My voice is not at 100% today, so I could probably do all kind of different things.
Right.
Sal Malone song. Do you know Sal Malone song?
I don't.
He is a genius at disguising his voice,
Uh-huh.
like and just making noises with his. It's pretty interesting.
Right.
If you ever meet him, say do that voice that Kevin always asks you to do. 'Cause it's pretty funny. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that we put out, that's actually on both records. We just the first record we put out, it's not really a record. We just put it out on the website, so you can go to that website and buy the first album. And then the second one we actually put out as a physical copy, and we put it on the second record too. So it's on both.
Yeah. but and it's DoubleWideLive.com.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
DOUBLE.
Yeah.
Just for people that need to spell double.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it.
I can't do it.
Really?
I'm horrible
How
at
do you
spelling.
do it? Like double bubble? Like remember the gum back in the day?
D-U-B-B-L-E.
DUBBLE?
No, but like I am the worst speller in the world. I will admit to that right now.
I used to have to go to spelling bees when I was a kid, and I remember being humiliated at 8 years old in the mall spelling bee because I missed the word.
What word was it?
Barring.
Barring.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Can you
Barring.
use the word in a sentence, please?
Yeah.
You know, those are intense, though, man. I've been to a couple of those spelling bees, like some of those national ones. I've been to one. And it was intense. Those kids are, like, hardcore, man.
I mean, it you know, it shaped me into the man I am today.
Right? I'm sure. Literally, I went to the it was in Colorado. My wife was working at a paper, and she had to go, like, cover the Colorado State spelling bee,
right?
And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to go see that. And it was intense, man.
They are
it was
fun.
really
I'm not
intense.
To me, they should have a musician spelling bee.
No,
to me, that would be like everybody would show up to that shit.
Right, it would be horrible.
You know,
I would be.
I think we should do it.
I would lose on the first
next
word.
Festival. Reach out. Let's do a damn music. All the musicians have to do a spelling bee.
Right.
I'm telling you, they'll pay a cover for that shit.
Right.
I don't doubt it one bit.
Yeah,
I would pay.
I
would go see that show.
I would lose the first word.
You know, everybody would leave. Man, can you believe John Conley couldn't spell like disappear? Like for real, you know. I can't believe that. You know, because I mean, it's true. You know, like I mean, sometimes you get caught up in a moment and you misspell shit.
Right.
It's true. Like realize.
Yeah.
It could be spelled two different ways. You know.
Well, that's why I'm a very bad speller. There's so many words and so many ways to spell different things.
And then there's that.
And there's all those rules that I just don't.
There's always
it just
that,
never made sense to me.
There's always that asshole. That, you know, now that we're on Facebook, we used to not be on Facebook
right.
Back in the day. Like when we were in high school, we weren't on Facebook.
Right.
We had red marks and stuff on our, you know, on our loose leaf and college ruled paper. I don't even think they have that anymore.
Right. I wouldn't even know.
I'm serious. Like, I remember that. Like number 2 pencils.
Yeah, bring your number 2 pencil.
I don't remember that. I mean, I remember it, but I mean. I've never used another number 2 pencil in my life.
Right.
So, barring, by the way, can you spell it?
No, I told you.
I can't ever.
I don't even want to try.
Again.
I don't even want to try because
I bet you have trauma from that.
My wife is the speller, and anything I post on the internet, I have to get. We know this, and I have to get it approved. Before it goes
I mean, to me, you know, I think that should be a relationship prerequisite too. Like, you know,
right?
You want to kiss me? Spell this word. Right. You gonna learn how to spell tonight. You know, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I
can't do it.
You want to kiss? Spell disappear.
I'm not the man, but that's what makes us so good. My wife and I. Yeah. She could do the things that I can't.
Back in the day, if you knew how to hunt,
right.
You got a woman. Today, you get protested. I mean, we have definitely gone through some changes. So, but barring is a legal word, and it's spelled BARRING.
See, the double R. It was the double R that got you. I guarantee you.
I was like 8 years old going, I'll never forget the ride home. I bet my mom probably was tearing up in the front. I was like, I just don't understand why they would give an 8-year-old a legal term. That's what I told her. In the back of the station wagon that was silver. I'm serious.
Right.
Family truckster.
Right.
Remember that? Station wagon?
Oh, I never had a station wagon.
Dude, the back seat was like the opposite way.
Right. Right. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
and I remember
so other kids that had them. I remember sitting in the back.
And you'd have to look out of the back.
We had a Volkswagen. I had a Volkswagen Beetle.
Really?
Yeah. And
This is how we grew up differently.
Right? And the way back, you know, there was the seat and then there was that little back part in the back of a Volkswagen. No, there's like a little place for your groceries behind the seat.
Okay.
I remember sitting back there as a kid.
Okay.
back behind the seat of a
and
Volkswagen.
none of us had a damn car seat.
Right, no.
Or seatbelt on.
That didn't exist.
Right. I remember being on the floorboard, too, in the back seat of a Bonneville.
Right.
Like playing with my dinosaurs.
Right.
Really.
And it's against the law now. You can't go.
Yeah.
You can't drive a kid around.
Yeah. The other thing that doesn't happen is your mom and dad don't listen to 8-tracks.
Right.
And I remember it very well. Leo Sayer is the one that I'd have the, and Christopher Cross was another one. But Leo Sayer's 8-track, they had like a bunch of like crazy like colors on his face and stuff.
Right.
You remember this?
No.
Oh, okay. These are things that I mean, we're talking about childhood now,
Right. Well,
but,
I remember. Here's my 8-track story. I had a Bronco to a '71
that's bad.
Ford Bronco to. You remember those?
Yeah.
You remember those things? It was 3 on the tree, and it had an 8-track player in it, and there was the only 8-track. The 8-track that was stuck in it that wouldn't come out was Ace Frehley's solo record from Kiss. So whenever you were driving around, you had to listen to like Back in the New York Groove and all that stuff, you know.
Wow.
So like, it was a pretty happening ride, you know.
You know, when I think of 8-tracks now, I literally want to cry because that technology to me, even still today, is amazing.
Right.
Really, it's like
Right.
a baby reel-to-reel.
Right. It was a different time, and now everybody just downloads. You don't even make physical copies of records or anything, you know, which is kind of weird. I'm kind of getting used to it.
And now it's all, dude. I'm surprised they're not giving SD cards.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's such a change, you know. Like, the reason I got into music, and the reason that like music touched my life at such
tangible.
a young age was because I could go buy it at the store. I could go touch it. It
was tangible.
It was there.
Yeah.
And I remember there was, and I'll say this, I've said this many a times in other interviews, there was a record store in Laramie, Wyoming that was called Top Notch Records. And Top Notch Records was there was a guy in there that, he was this old hippie dude, and like, it, you know, it smelled like incense and weed in there all the time. And I would go in there as a kid. I remember going in there as a kid and him saying, "Hey Matt, how's it going?" And I didn't live in Laramie. I lived in Rawlins. I grew up in Rawlins, Wyoming, and my parents, where I grew up, there was no place to buy pants for school, or there was no. It's a small town. There, when we grew up, I mean, you went to Laramie, or you went to you know, you drove 100 miles to go back to the mall or whatever. There wasn't a mall or like a JCPenney or whatever. So we would go to Laramie, and I remember going in there as a little kid, and he knew my name. He knew the record I bought last, and this was just all in his head. And he knew. He would ask me about what I liked the last time. I would tell him, and he would say, "Well, you should check this out, or you should check out this record." I mean, and I had a relationship with this guy. I went to college in Laramie, and I still went to his record store when I was in college. I mean, I knew this guy a lot of my life, and he was the
influencer.
Yeah, I mean, it was all the way to like, oh, you like, you know, and I listened to a lot of punk rock music when I grew up, you know. I was really into like West Coast kind of style punk rock music. And
give me an example, like Black Flag or something?
Yeah, like Black Flag,
okay,
and like Fugazi, that kind of stuff. Bad Religion, those kind of bands were like, I was really into that kind of stuff. And
right.
Then he was like, oh, well, if you like, you know, I remember when I was into Bad Religion for a while and doing that kind of thing, he was like, well, check out, you know, he introduced me to like Led Zeppelin and you know, like, you know, this is kind of, look where these guys are getting this from, and this is kind of this thing, like this, like, check this out, you know. And it was, he
was the gatekeeper.
Yeah, and it was really an amazing experience that no one has anymore, because there are no record stores anymore.
Well, they have one now in downtown Lafayette. I have to say that.
Right.
But I you know, I feel like I have a record store on my text messaging because I have a friend that constantly buys vinyl and sends it to me.
Right.
Look what I bought today. Look what I bought today.
Right.
Look what I bought today. He actually just got a major find
Right.
with the 1958 Elvis album.
Oh, nice.
In mint condition.
Oh, cool.
I still don't understand how.
Yeah, see,
he
that's
found
awesome
that
too. Like,
at
I
an
collect
estate
vinyl
sale.
too. But that's just it. I mean, there was that, you know, there was somebody there to guide you, you know, and there was someone there to, and you know, you took an album home and you listened to it. You read the inside, you know, you looked at all the pictures that were with it.
Yeah. Parents, you wonder where your kid is learning? He's either at the Boys and Girls Club or he's at the record store.
Right.
It could be a little bit of both.
And I think it was a simpler time. Nowadays, I mean, you just download it and then you listen to the one song and then it goes on to that huge list of songs that you have on your device.
Right.
And you can never come back to it, you know, unless you really want to. It's you know, you got to flip through and like, oh, but while you're flipping, you see something else that you want to listen to, or while you're flipping, you see, you know, back then it was like, oh, look, here's my records. I'm going to listen to this one. And you put it on. And there's something too, and you know, there's something too about, we made this record that we just made is a double record. And there's something to that I've always wanted to make a double record. And the reason for that is there's something to going over to the machine that you're listening to your record on and flipping it over, or you know, back in the day, even with tapes, you know, you played the first side and then you had to get up, you know, you had to get up and flip it over, and then there was a whole nother experience on the back, you know, and you could design it that way, and so that's why I've kind of always wanted to make a double record, because you could design the first one and then the second one as a new, you know, two different kind of experiences, and that's kind of like,
it makes you think.
Yeah, you know, it kind of makes it like, if you listen to the first one, then you listen to the second one, and also there's a break in there, you know,
right?
Like there's a little break.
I mean, you know, you might need to go to the restroom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or go get a soda or whatever, you know.
And that might be the moment that you realize that, you know what, I've been listening to this album 7 times today, and I just took a break because of the flip.
Right. Or or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't happen, you know. And I tried to, you know, that's kind of what. And then it went to CDs, and CDs don't have the flip, you know. CDs don't. You never get a flip, you know. But you do if you put it on 2 records. But now everybody just puts it in their machine.
I think it went to Laserdisc.
Right.
Before that, and then DAT was before that too. And look, I'm gonna tell you something. Laserdisc, that was scary.
Right.
To me, I was scared of the Laserdisc.
Right, those big ones. Remember the big ones with the like video and everything? They were like as big as like.
You know what it reminded me of? And right after we say we're gonna go into another track, and we're going to Derby.
Okay.
But it reminded me that, you remember Starman?
Yeah.
The alien with Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Right. The movie Starman. Apparently, he learned everything about the United States on a Laserdisc.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even joking.
Right.
Like, he was a child, and then all of a sudden he had a Laserdisc in the UFO, and like literally he learned everything you needed to know about the United States on a Laserdisc.
Right.
That's what scared me about the Laserdisc.
Right.
I was like, "Are you serious? Like, he learned it all on a Laserdisc?" I was like,
on one Laserdisc?
I mean, now I think to myself, man, it had to have been at least 1.4 gigabytes.
Right.
You know, like, wow, that's all we are.
Right.
1.4 gigabytes.
But like, I tried to that's what I kind of tried to do, you know, with the double record, is trying to get the flip back, you know, get the pause. Get the flip of the record back. Get the stop. Go have some breakfast or something, and then come back to it. You know.
Derby's next.
So Derby is I think is one of the better songs on the record, personally. It's actually about my friend I graduated high school with. His name is Charles Keller. He goes around the country. He's in crash up derbies, man.
Right.
If you're not familiar with a crash up derby, you got a big arena full of dirt and mud, and you have a bunch of cars go in there, and they all crash into each other until there's one left. and that's the whole idea of a crash up derby. And he does it every weekend. He does it kind of for a living, and a wild way to make a living. I found him on Facebook.
I wonder how much they make at the end. I mean, there's probably an
There's
entry
different
fee.
there's entry fees. You gotta have your car. You gotta do all that. But I think they make if you win, you get like 10 grand or something. Or
Dude,
20 grand.
that
You
would
get
be
like
so
big time money.
Much fun.
But yeah, so he goes all over Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, all through the Midwest, crashing cars for a living. And I found him on Facebook and found that he was doing this, and I thought, wow, man, that's crazy, what a crazy way to make a living. And it kind of gave me the inspiration to write the song. I actually wrote him and I said, hey man, what's the lingo, what's some things that they say, like in the pits of the derby or whatever. So he gave me some ideas and I wrote it, and I sent it to him and he was super stoked about it. And yeah, I actually think it came out to be one of the better songs on the record, on the side 2 record, on the second record, the rock and roll.
After you're done with side 1 and you flip it over.
Yeah, right.
Whenever it's done, it's gonna go ding, ding. You remember those?
Right. Please turn the page.
Here we go, Derby.
All right.
Doublewide. It's a good song, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It is. It
turned out really good.
While I'm sitting here, I looked at him and I said, "Dude, who is that?" I said, "To me, everything sounds like something when I hear it all the time." And I'm like,
right.
"Dude, on your voice to me sounds like a Dinosaur Jr. track on that.
Oh, cool.
But
Yeah.
I think it actually is more contained in that song to me.
Right.
So
Awesome.
I mean,
I love
like
Dinosaur
it.
Jr. You know?
I literally think y'all just picked up Dinosaur Jr. fans by listening to this track.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. That's what, like, I grew up in Wyoming, you know, and
Yeah.
and in Wyoming, every band that you go see is a country band, or when you go to a dance or whatever, it's country music. You know, it's so as a kid, you growing up there, you know, you looked for. I mean, I did. I looked for everything that wasn't that, because I just couldn't take it anymore. You know, and it was just really.
Yeah.
I just
Is that
didn't
why
like
you think
it.
you went to punk?
And I don't know.
Because I mean, you felt like you needed to rebel against the country.
Now I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason, or if it was.
Because I know what I listened to growing up, and dude, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Or if that was just what was super cool at the time. Like, that's what it just spoke to me. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
No, I get it. Because I mean, to me, I don't know, man. I was. Go ahead. I mean,
No, you know.
I when I was a kid, I mean, I had a very interesting childhood. But,
Right. But yeah, I mean, that music, like, it gave me something that, like,
Yeah.
that I was needing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't.
Yeah.
And the country music was always there, but I didn't like it. Like, it was like, oh man, like, we're at this other
Yeah.
dance where they're playing more country music. Let's go, let's go do something else.
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, like y'all
And-
did y'all do square dancing?
No, there were. I remember a lot of square dancing.
I remember having to do that in a PE class. And I was like,
Right.
the only girl I got a crush on, I didn't get the square dance with, and I was mad.
Right? Whoa,
You know?
square dancing. I haven't thought of that in a long
I
time.
you saw me, dude. I was square dancing with Brittany.
But yeah, and then when I moved from Wyoming, I started, going to parties and doing things. And then we'd be at parties or doing whatever, and I'd always be in the back of my mind like, why aren't they listening to Merle Haggard right now?
Yeah.
Or why?
Well, that was cool.
Why isn't
dude.
there like nobody's listening to and then it started to seep in, like, I missed it. Like, when I'm doing this, I want to listen to Charlie Daniels Band, or like
Right.
or like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, that's what it makes me feel comfortable.
It blows you away. I mean, but you also have to remember you've been listening to albums first of all. You're getting the real sound of the vinyl,
Right.
and you're really listening to it.
Right.
And to me, because I study this stuff on a scientific level,
Right.
and people think I'm crazy sometimes. I don't care what you think, by the way. I'm gonna keep on doing it. So, like, for real, I mean, that's why I believe that so many people that do listen to those tracks do become musicians, because their minds almost telling them to do it.
Right. I mean,
I want to play my own perspective to see actually what it sounds like.
Right.
And to me, if you're constantly listening to the same frequency on a regular basis, it will mold you into the person
Right.
that you want. Mold you also how you learn.
right.
And that's how I know it's true, because when I study this stuff, everybody learns differently, and
Right.
and they just so happen to learn, just a little bit. I don't want to say more intelligently, because everybody is their own person, but like you have a way, like when you could physically take an instrument and understand that the tone is up and down,
Right.
okay, and you can do that on every instrument.
Right.
I think that a lot of that drive comes from listening to tracks over and over and over
Right.
again.
Right.
That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah. I mean.
Because I mean, it's true. I mean, especially when you're listening to Leonard Skinner and you're listening to
Right.
More rock,
Right.
because it makes you want to visualize what it's like being on stage just like them.
Right. And and that's like, we could talk about like all these like super cool bands or whatever, and go really obscure bands, but like, dude, I loved like AC/DC and like,
Yeah, but
and
all
like
of these bands,
these like like popular
Right.
bands too,
But
these bands were these. I mean, they still play that stuff today on the radio. You
But-
can't get away from it.
but
It was so it was so amazing that those
every
things,
band that you just said, okay, think about this for a second. what did you have to do when you found out they were coming anywhere within 60 miles of you?
Yeah, you went, man. You
And-
went.
and
You
why?
got a ticket and you went because it was gonna be something.
Because you knew.
You knew it was gonna be an experience.
They killed it
you
on
know?
stage.
Yeah, and then you were gonna have a visceral experience
Right.
with these people, and not only that, but you were gonna have a visceral experience with the people around you.
Right.
And and that's something too that like my wife and I have discussed as we go to shows as we get older now and these things, and you go to shows and you go nowadays you go to a show and everybody's holding up their phones, you know, and they're
Yeah.
videotaping the show and watching their phone, you know. It's like, well, put your phone down and
And
watch.
some of them really don't like it.
Right?
Some
Like,
of them really don't. And
yeah, it's like put your phone down and have an experience with the
Yeah.
person next to you that's standing there.
Yeah, I mean,
And you know, like because that's what we're all here for. We all came to this concert or this thing to feel the way that these people
Yeah.
make us feel when they sing their songs. And if you don't do that,
it's kind of weird too.
because you can feel that way with all of the people there, you
'Cause-
know, and that makes it even more exciting, you know.
I mean, it would be cool. Like I saw one time I was at a show. I was standing in the back because I mean I'm taking pictures and I have a video that I'm taking,
Right.
but I only have a certain amount of songs to take pictures. I only can take. Sometimes I can't take video.
Right.
So literally, I'm standing there, and the only one time I thought it was neat. Instead of lighters, they all turn their flashlights on.
Oh, right.
So it's kind of weird, you know, like
Right,
because
right.
it was like we were a futuristic society
Right.
with freaking what are these new tactical flashlights?
Right.
Like, you know, I'm serious. Like that's kind of what it was like. I mean, to me, that's kind of it was interesting.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it's
it
an
was still
interesting
weird
thing now.
to me, but it was interesting
Yeah.
because lighters burn the shit out of you after a little
Right.
while.
You're right.
So-
Your thumb gets hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's ever. I don't know if we're gonna get away from the whole like.
Well,
You know, I hope so. I hope we
Yeah.
get away from the technology thing and go to shows and have experiences with the people around us.
yeah. I mean, but it goes back to what we were saying about, you know, you listen to the album, you
Right.
listen to the you know,
Right.
and as the technology got smaller,
Right.
we felt like it was less. To me, it's almost
Maybe
like
it's
less connection
important or
something.
whatever. I don't know.
You know, like because look, dude, I remember being a kid with a record player, and I carried them damn records everywhere I went.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, and like seriously, like people spent time to clean their records.
Yeah.
Okay, like today, nobody does that.
Right. Yeah, and when I got that was the thing, you know, and like
You treated them like a piece of gold,
Right.
Or, you know, like valuable pieces of something. So whenever the band came anywhere near you, you made sure to figure out a way to get your ass over there.
Right.
And if it was sold out, it was
You
cool
hung out
to hang outside.
right.
You know,
Right.
and that's what was an experience in life. I mean,
Right.
like I look at all these movies.
I didn't get in, but look, I got to hang out with all these other people that didn't get in.
Yeah,
You know, and we had a
And
good time.
right.
And we
And-
all celebrated the thing that we all came here for.
right.
You know?
Like Detroit Rock City is I guess Kiss is one of those bands too. 'Cause
Right?
they were a theatrical act.
Right?
In
And I
their
love
own
them.
way.
I can tell you right now, I'm a huge Kiss fan.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Kiss. And look, and now, like, and the whole thing with the record, you know, that we made is it's a double record. And I have this kind of like this. I write a lot of songs that are like more country style songs, and then I have these rock and roll songs, you know.
right.
And like we said before, like I don't know where these songs come from really, but like the country stuff is I think it really it's just part of what it makes me feel good, you know.
Yeah, but it's your spin on country. It seems to me.
Right, you know.
I mean,
it
'cause-
makes me feel good, like I remember feeling when I was a kid in Wyoming, you know, listening,
Yeah,
you know, and then the other stuff is like it's the kind of the like, oh yeah, this is the stuff, you know, like as a songwriter, like it's like okay, like these are the things that shaped me, you know what I'm saying? So
I want to hear you do a super high intense Gene Autry song.
right, right, like I'm in, like let's try
Like,
it.
like I remember. Okay, like one song. I'm gonna give you an example.
Right.
The Elvis song. I think it was the first track he ever I might be wrong about this. I'm sorry if I am, but Blue Moon.
Uh-huh.
I think it was the first track he ever cut. And when he did that song, his way,
Right.
look what it did.
Right. Right.
I mean, and then what was another one? Milk Cow Blues he did. There was a song called Milk Cow Blues that Elvis did. That was like, it was pretty neat, dude. I mean, like doing his own style and putting it, because you could tell Elvis listened to music every day.
Right.
You could tell because all he did was visualize what he could do on stage.
Right.
I don't even know the dude, and I can tell that just by looking at what he does on stage. So
there's a lot of there's something to be said about that.
Prince,
too,
Michael Jackson. You think Michael Jackson didn't sit there and listen to albums all day?
Right. They perfected their craft. And there's certain people like that. There's certain people in this world that are more special than other people. And that's just the way it is. And there's certain people that have an energy that is so incredible that you can't do without it. And I don't know what that is, but like those people you said, Elvis is one of those people. I think Bob Marley is one of those people. He was an amazing performer, and an amazing, this crazy thing would happen, when he got on stage and sang his songs.
They all visualize their craft on stage.
Right, and I would even say Prince was Michael Jackson. There's a reason that so many people got behind them and followed them and trusted in them, And it's because there's some people that have something special, and I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, let me ask you. When you were a kid, did you ever visualize yourself being on a stage?
All the time.
Okay. You just
all the time. I still do. I still get on my bed. I get on my bed right now and rock the air guitar with my.
Yeah, but, okay. You just figured out what it was. Okay, that's it. That's really what it was. Now, now here's what you got to do, too.
Right.
You got to visualize a big crowd.
Right.
That's number 2.
Yeah.
And I think that the more crowd you visualize,
the more that's going to come to the show.
The more that might actually come to the show. Because it's true. If you're going to give 150% on stage and you visualized it, it's no different than a guy going in the Olympics. What do you think they put those dudes through?
Right.
They put them through visualization tests on visualizing themselves running their entire marathon in their head before they do it.
But still, I think there's something more...
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, there's something more like... I dare use the word magic about some people. There's something that like,
The Cars. It's the first thing I thought about when you said magic.
Yeah, the Cars. There's something about Rick Ocasek that makes me want to... and look, here's another person. There's I'm a huge Neil Diamond fan.
Me too.
Like, giant Neil. I love...
What's your favorite Neil Diamond song?
Ooh.
I'm getting to know Matt Thornton.
I would have to say, I
know mine.
It would be like I Am I Said, or Desiree.
Okay.
Or Crunchy Granola.
Damn.
I love those. I love that weirdness. I think he's
another guy that didn't give a damn.
Right, and it's amazing. And I've seen him live. I've seen him live a couple times.
He was him and Enrique Iglesias. If they ever got together and did a double show, they would have probably been bigger than Michael Jackson.
No, I'm a huge Neil Diamond fan. I'll admit it to the world, and I think he's one of those people. Dude, I saw him probably 5 or maybe 10 years ago now.
Mm.
And he's an old man, he's doing his deal, he's still doing his deal.
Yeah.
But dude, from the moment he walked on stage, he had an arena full of people,
dude, like crazy
at his fingertips. He could do whatever he wanted with them, and that's an amazing power. There's people that have it, and I think like I said, like Bob Marley,
Yep.
these people, they have it. They have this special thing.
Let me throw another example out there. When Neil Diamond's first album came out, what medium could you buy it on?
I don't know. It was probably vinyl.
That's
huh?
it.
Yeah.
And it was like that for probably 14 years.
Right.
Every single person that bought a Neil Diamond album listened to it religiously.
Right.
Okay? Coming to America.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Like, I love all that.
He
thing.
hit every single kind of...
And,
Cracklin' Rose was like...
And that's the...
like, that was like a...
Right?
If you like
Rose,
bluegrass,
like,
so you like... You know,
but there's
he
like
got you
all
there.
that stuff, and it's
Right.
like even Coming to America, it's like there's a certain element of like either this is really cheesy and really stupid, or this is really truly amazing. There's like a fine, there's a fine line of like cheesy and weird, and or it's amazing, and I think that's the genius of the whole thing, there's like this, there's like this thing of like, okay, well, he didn't care, like,
Right.
This is what I'm gonna write, and I don't care if it sounds strange or sounds, like I love that about him and his songwriting.
Right. Well, my favorite is Solitary Man.
Yeah.
That is by far my favorite one. And I don't know what it is.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, they're just that. Look, he's got some great ones, and he made a new album recently, or I say recently, but it was within the last 10 years, and he's got this song called Hell Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that song. That was great. Yeah.
I mean, his last name is Diamond.
Right? How can you?
I don't even know if that's real. But I mean, Screech kind of screwed it up for him maybe a little bit with his real name. But like for real, dude, like every chick wanted a diamond.
Right. Right.
Why would he not make it to the top?
Right. Right.
He's the hardest mineral in the music business.
But I mean, so that I think like I'm sure that kind of comes out in my songwriting. Like I don't know. Like I don't know, maybe lyrically or like rhythmically, maybe some of the songs. But yeah, I mean, I think as a musician and as a songwriter. And I think as even like I went to school at the University of Wyoming for art. I think as any sort of artist, you kind of suck up anything that's out there that you can,
Yeah,
you suck it up and you try to get as much of it in, and you try to learn from it as much as you can, whatever it is, Even if it's writing, you're reading poetry, or you're sucking up, or if you're painting, you're looking at other paintings, you're doing these things, you're sucking up all this knowledge and you're putting it into your garage. These are your tools, and you're gonna put them in your garage, and then when you need them, they're gonna be there.
Right.
And that's the cool thing. I think and that's the whole thing. With like, I think with songwriting, you just kind of let it try and let it be at the. Like, don't let it. I remember when I first writing songs, like I'd be like, oh man, that's stupid. I'm not gonna say that, or that's dumb.
I know what you're saying too. Like sometimes,
but usually that's the good stuff.
Yeah, and it usually is. It's just like it's almost like you have to get a whole nother singer to sing it in the way that you want it to be heard,
right?
Before you realize that
it's okay. I can do. Yeah, it's not stupid.
So,
or whatever.
I mean, it's kind of like that. And then whenever,
but I think
it's true. A lot of songwriters can't sing their own music,
right?
So it's like, to me, and then all of a sudden they do,
right? I think that's part of a little bit of like ego, going into that, where you're like, oh, I can't say that.
And I'm gonna say that,
but like.
Right.
I don't know. At one point, I think you learn to put that stuff aside, and
you just say F it and do it.
And that's the thing with like the country side of stuff. I mean, I remember, and our first band that I, was in was a really like a punk rock band, and when I was in high school and stuff, and then I got into other bands, and I remember starting to play some like a country or like type song, you know, and they'd be like, oh man, that's like country or whatever, you know. I think there's a like stigma about country that's like maybe not such a good thing to some people, you know.
Unless, you know.
But
I don't know. I mean, after the award show the other night, apparently you just have to roll your pants up really high.
Right.
So I mean,
right.
But
that's
that's
think
the new scene, though.
Right.
Dude. I mean, like you know.
You know, and I think there's like, yeah, like that whole new scene I'm not into at all. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it might as well be.
Well, somebody said it best the other day. I mean, if the guy was 400 pounds and he did that, he would have been an asshole on the award show.
Right.
You know, if the guy wasn't super attractive and like everybody wanted to, you know, it's true.
Right.
You know.
I mean,
if Robin Thicke
look,
was not an attractive guy, do you really believe he'd be singing the shit he'd be singing?
Right.
No.
But there's something to be said. There's something too to be said about pop music.
Right.
Like there's like I love pop music. I love you know.
In the 80s,
like,
Barry Manilow, to me, I mean, you know, women were head over heels about Barry Manilow.
You know, and even like Cyndi Lauper, and like, or even you come further and like, dude, I love that girl. What's her name? You know, that has that new album, Red or whatever. What's her name?
Red.
What's that girl's name?
I don't know who it is.
The blonde girl that's like super famous now. I love her, whoever she is.
What kind of music? Pop?
Yeah, she's.
I know it is because I don't know it.
She used to be like a country star, and now she's like
Taylor
Swift. Yeah, I love that. That's great stuff, man. Her new stuff is good, man. Like I'm not afraid of music. Like I like pop music. It's okay, you know.
I mean, I like when they do
like
Shake It Off.
I mean, some people like.
I can't see Matt Thornton rocking the Shake It Off though.
Oh, dude, I do. I turn it up, man. Every time it comes on my radio. And look, I'm not afraid to say it. No, it's okay, you know.
My favorite dude, honestly. Let me see who.
I mean,
I like Frank Sinatra.
There's something to be said about that.
I mean,
you know,
Frank
there's
Sinatra
something to those people have just as much like.
Oh no, she's good, dude.
You know, they have just as much validity as the guy as the punk band in the garage. You know.
I just can't. I can't. I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I listen, dude. If you knew what I listened to, they'd probably put me away.
Right.
I mean, for real. Like I listened to I listened to the New Filter album last night.
Right.
The New Filter album is a cross between the first Nine Inch Nails album, Pretty Hate Machine, and a cross between Skinny Puppy.
Okay.
If you know what that is.
I know both of those bands.
And like it's kind of weird too because like Nine Inch Nails' first tour was with Skinny Puppy, and Skinny Puppy was hugely active. I mean, activists were all over him because, I mean, everything that they ever did was, you know. I mean, they tried to tear them apart. It was one of the first bands that probably ever got were that activists were.
I remember that.
So I mean, you know, and in Ministry.
Ministry,
you know,
I love that band. See, these are the bands like I grew up like this is
this is what I used to listen to still, and I still listen to it.
Right.
I mean,
and dude, I'll throw in that stuff. I threw in what was it? Not long ago, I threw in a Jane's Addiction record. And was like, whoa, like totally blown away again. Like, oh my god, listen to this! It still is as good as it still has.
Oh, it's good, dude.
Oh, it's great, man. It's great music.
I mean, Perry Farrell's a trip, but he is good.
Right.
I mean, I mean, literally, I listening to Perry Farrell, just the fact that I can see him behind a mic.
Right.
And do his thing.
Right.
I'm amazed.
Right. I saw him when they did the first Lollapalooza. I went to the first Lollapalooza. I saw him then.
Yeah, I mean.
And but see, that's the thing. Like, I hope that with my music, it's like that people feel all that. Like you said earlier, that you know that like Dinosaur Jr. thing, and like I hope they, I quit. I dropped out of art school. You know, I dropped out of art school because I thought that I wasn't learning anything new. I wasn't learning any new techniques. I wasn't learning anything that was making my art go further. What they were teaching me was how to convince other people that what I was doing was art.
Right.
And I thought I thought to myself, I was like, well, if I have to convince someone that what I am doing is worthy to be called art, then what I've done isn't good enough.
It's pure manipulation.
Right? It's like, well,
then
I haven't done my job as an artist, okay?
So basically, and me hearing this is what I think. So basically, you want me to pay you $15,000 to manipulate people. To get the book, the textbook,
right,
understanding on how to manipulate people.
Right, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the whole scene, and I hope that when people listen to my music that I write, that they feel that, like the Neil Diamond in there, and the Jane's Addiction in there, and the Dinosaur Jr. and the, and the Hank Williams and the Chris Christopherson and all these people that I like.
Where's Taylor Swift in this album?
Where's the Taylor Swift part?
I had to hit you with that one.
Taylor Swift, I don't know if there is. I don't know if I have a Taylor Swift.
Everybody's laughing their ass off too right now.
That might be the next record.
This dude right here. If you do a Taylor Swift album, I want to be the director on that video.
But yeah, so I hope people hear that, and I hope it speaks to them. I hope I've done. That's the thing.
The last one immediately, dude. I was like, damn, that reminds me of like, the '90s, but like a completely different sound with
Right. Well, why don't we play one of the more country style?
I was gonna go into Guns because I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. That's like my favorite.
Okay.
It really is. It's my personal favorite because it's activist worthy, and to me, it's the punk.
Yeah, it's the punk part of me,
influence that I think a lot of people would like to hear. Because right now it's almost like the world's lashing out at everybody, and it's like they hear this song and they're.
And this is on the first record that we made, actually.
It's kind of crazy because it's like it's a song, and then you have one whole side. To me, the video would be like a political riot in the crowd.
Right.
You would have the left and the right, and it would be the best damn mosh pit in the world.
Right.
And it would be a real mosh pit where they really don't like each other, and they're just knocking the hell out of each other. And while this song is playing, what I'm saying?
And I think this is that country. Look, it is that punk rock kind of attitude,
But it really is.
But it's surrounded by this like country, like.
Of completely different
softness,
vibe.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever it is. I think it's a really good song,
dude. If I could have been at the bike rally that y'all played this song at, went. I know they went ape shit for this song.
Yeah, we did the whole Daytona, Daytona Bike Week. We played down there. It was
when y'all played this
amazing
song.
Oh yeah, people love it. We had a blast. It was amazing. Like one of those. I'll never forget it, It was one of those experiences in life where you just you won't forget it.
Wow.
It was amazing.
The whole time I was here, and I kept seeing pictures of Daytona Bike Week, and that crazy girl swinging from that rope or something on stage.
They had a big swing on the bar.
I was like, dude, if they play Guns, they've got fans for life.
Right.
So here's Guns by Doublewide.
Boy, out by a spell, he took for everything he's done. I'd like to thank the Lord for him being good. Oh, it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor, and I could spin you round and round like we never done before. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. Well, I've been thinking about my baby, you know she made me crazy. I've been thinking about Friday night. Don't you feel right hanging on so tight? You know you make me feel so fine. Every now and then she goes out with her friends, but she saved Friday night for me. Don't got much but a truck with a clutch and a place we can get it for free. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. I could spin you round and round like we never done before. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. Well, I've been thinking about my baby, you know she made me crazy. I've been thinking about Saturday night. Don't you feel right hanging on so tight? You know you make me feel so fine. Every now and then she goes out with her friends, but she saves Saturday for me. Don't got nothing but some hugging and a loving and a place we can get in for free. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. I could spin you round and round like we never done before. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. I could spin you round and round like we never done before. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. Well, I've been thinking about my baby, you know she made me crazy. I've been thinking about Sunday night. Don't you feel right hanging on so tight? You know you make me feel so fine. Every now and then she goes out with her friends, but she saves Sunday for me. Don't got nothing but a bunny in the oven and a place we can get it for free. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. I could spin you round and round like we never done before. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor. Well, all it needs a good jukebox and a hardwood floor.
Tell us about jukebox.
Jukebox. You know what? I was coming. We practiced. I was coming home from practice one night, and I was driving,
Mhm.
and it popped into my head. The whole chorus, everything popped into my head, and I got home and I wrote it down. And it's just one of those things too. It's like okay, it's like.
I mean, because
it's a simple song.
It's simple.
It's not a.
But it doesn't always have to be hard too.
Right.
I mean, like like it's true.
Right, and it's a good song. It's a really good one.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
Cool.
It makes sense to a lot of people. Like we don't need.
You don't need much.
We don't need a whole bunch of money. Let's just go somewhere, find
some
some freaking quarters, and go play a couple songs and dance.
Right. Yeah, and get together.
Right.
It's a simple story.
You guys, I'm gonna tell y'all something. All you guys on YouTube with them stupid ass commercials, going, "Hey, you looking for a lady? Click play and follow my link, and I'll show you a PDF of everything I can do to get a lady." Let me tell you something. That's all. I would say probably 87% of the women on the planet. That's all they really want to do.
Right.
It's somebody that says, you know what? I had a shitty day. Let's go find a jukebox, even if it's in the Waffle House. She probably don't give a damn, and literally, just dance.
Yeah. Put a quarter in the machine.
They want to dance. Yeah. That's what they like to do.
Put a quarter in the machine and get together,
Yeah.
I mean,
and half the time,
and you never know, you might enjoy yourself.
And half the time, the song that you're dancing to, you may not even hear it.
Right.
You may not even hear it.
Right.
So I mean, to me, that's you owe me $39.95 now.
But yeah, that's on the new record. Jukebox is on the new record. DoubleWideLive.com. You can get it there. We're excited to be putting this out at this time,
Right.
and to see, kind of see where it takes us,